Let me know. Just let me know when to sit, and I'm coming. All right.
Take a camera over.
Back for maybe like the 5th or 6th time. Maybe our favorite guest, JC Aviles. Cheers, everybody. We're doing coffee in the morning.
Salute.
Salute. Fucking A. So we've been talking about apology videos.
A new one just dropped.
Dude, we got a new one, guys.
I was telling Paul that it's a great month for apology videos because we got the Drew Barrymore. She dropped 2.
She double dipped.
Didn't she drop 2?
Oh, what was the first one?
Oh, no, okay. The first one wasn't an apology. It was just her fuck up. It was the Instagram post, I think. For some reason, I attribute that to like...
That's what she's apologizing for?
Yeah, but she didn't apologize. Okay, it's...
Ooh, like a non-apology.
It's so funny because she apologizes, but then she's like, I'm still gonna do this thing. And it's like, what? Then why apologize? Why spend 4 minutes?
So it was... She continued doing her show even though there's the writer's strike.
Well, okay, so it's contextually it's like gnarlier because yes, that, right? But then they had the taping for the said show, and people went to the show, and her writers are literally outside of the show in New York striking, and this young couple was walking in, and they got pins from the people outside, so they wore the pins in solidarity in the taping. Before the taping starts, security comes in and removes them with the pins because they have the pins, and told him like, no, you can't be here. So, like, that just adds more fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a tough thing, because, like, I don't know. If I see someone out there wearing a pin, it's like, they're going to maybe try to interrupt the show, like, yell something, do some kind of protest, like, should we just get them out of here?
Oh, is that the thought process?
Maybe that was their thought process. You know, like, as a producer, it's like, they got that pin, like, they're probably going to try and sabotage the show.
What's up their sleeve?
Yeah, like,
but
otherwise, why are they here?
Time,
but anyway, I mean, I'm just saying.
But also, like, just logically, it's like, oh, yeah, there's picketers right outside. Of
right.
course.
It's not like they orchestrated this. They just happened to accept it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a very fear-based response to be like, get them out of there. It should just be like, that's nice. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so
and I could understand why the show producer would be like, I'm concerned about this. But I would think whoever is in charge of everything, or Drew Barrymore herself, should be like, no, that's I don't want to kick people out because of that. I'm going to veto that idea. Thank you for your concern, but no.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible they didn't even run it by her.
Yeah.
You know, like,
True.
A decision like that is kind of like, just make it. Don't tell the talent about all this. Like, don't, bother her with that shit.
For sure. And for all we know, I mean, maybe it is like a studio decision to put the show back on, and Drew just happens to be the one that's like posting a thing or whatever about it.
Maybe. I mean, that's where she does have the power to say like, no, we're not going to do my show during the strike.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, she does have that power.
Just don't do it. You were in ET. Like,
you've been around the block. You know how this goes.
Yeah.
You know.
Hold on. Someone's mic is crackly, yeah?
Was it me? I felt like I moved and it...
Could be me. I don't know. I hear it.
Well,
but yeah, so her apology video is just like her doubling down on everything
I didn't even
she says.
see it.
It's sort of like, I'm sorry, but here's why I'm still right. That's like kind of what.
So
Jason
it's like, I'm
was
sorry
saying.
that you're so upset.
Like exactly. Like it's not.
So why
it's
is she right?
non-apology.
What's her?
She also was like, during COVID, I had to give entertainment to everyone, and right now it's kind of the same. People need entertainment right now. And
yeah.
Right.
People just need to be paid.
Self-righteous. Yeah. No, people don't need to be entertained. They need fucking shelter, food, and water, gas to get to a job.
I feel like nobody needs the Drew Barrymore show.
Thank you.
Nobody.
I've never watched it.
Nobody needs the Drew Barrymore show. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It won't be missed.
It's tricky.
Yeah, but I feel like that also kind of shows just how, to get a little political, it also shows like how large the wealth gap is in the States right now, where when like regular human beings, when they see some shit like that, we like call it out immediately with like in a social media like landscape. Where it's like, oh, you're fucking stupid. Like, read the goddamn room.
Right.
It's kind of like the Oprah and the Rock thing with Hawaii. It's like, read the fucking room. Like,
yeah,
them asking for donations
we're
for
gonna get
Maui.
on air and see if you can donate your money as you're fucking drowning. And it's me. It's got to be me.
oh, that did something.
I soloed out.
You killed everything.
I soloed out Christine's mic. Let's see if
It's
it's that
me.
one.
Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Who sings that?
Taylor Swift.
Oh,
Let me try and
that tracks.
switch a cable for you. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh,
my God.
Was that loud?
good God.
Oh, now that's That's JC's mic.
It's okay, yeah.
So it's JC. JC's the problem. It's JC.
Fuck.
He's the problem.
It's probably just a shitty cable. Here, use this one for now. While I get a new cable.
Okay.
You can keep the headphones on.
No.
But yeah, it's just never,
Take your shirt off.
never a good idea.
Pants on. We're just.
So yeah, we were.
Yeah, I wonder, like, because it is sort of a thing of the time that, like, apology videos, like.
We
will
need to
that be,
stop.
like, remember in the 2020s, apology videos were big. Like, is that going to be a thing?
Oh yeah,
Or
I
will
think
they-
so.
Is it like a thing that'll come and go?
You know what? I've seen this tactic. I wouldn't say necessarily. I honestly think it works better than apology videos, but I've seen a tactic in like the pop culture sphere that people do sometimes, and it is ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. The news cycle is so crazy. Within
So
3
quick.
days, no one's gonna give a fuck. Like, unless it's obviously something like huge, you know. But
I
like,
feel like the most important part of any apology ever is sincerity. So if you aren't sincerely sorry, you shouldn't be commenting about it. If you're just going to sit there and reiterate everything you said and say, that's not an apology. That's
Sure.
not how that works. Apology is expressing remorse over something you did that either intentionally or unintentionally caused harm in somebody else, you know? So by
sure.
just like, it just doesn't make sense. Just don't do it if you're not sorry.
yeah, true.
But even if you are sorry, if you wanted this to just go away,
So don't say anything.
nothing.
Right.
Say nothing. Just wait.
Well, we were joking earlier too. It's like the worst thing you could do is take down the apology video. But then JC is like, no, the worst thing you can do is put it up in the first place. It's just like
And the
you
second
don't
worst thing is to take it
don't put it out there, and then you won't have to take it down.
We
Yeah.
should do. We should start a YouTube channel specifically just to do this, where we just get every apology
I love
video in the
that.
past like 10 years and just rate them.
Well, and then you just
like
I mean, 'cause
react and rate.
If you that would be a
The
fun
greatest apology
project.
videos of all time.
That would be a fun little coffee table book of like just like this is all the fuck ups of the last decade.
Wow.
That could be like a podcast series. We like call it the apologist or something, but we just go through every like because there's gotta be way more than we think about.
All right,
Well,
we're
and
done
even
with
like
the elk lodge. Let's
historically, you
move
know,
on.
like, did the Dixie Chicks apologize when there was all that stuff? You know, like everyone acts like cancel culture is so new, but like the Dixie Chicks got
around.
canceled, the Beatles got canceled. Like
When the Beatles get canceled.
John Lennon said, "We're bigger than Jesus." Because someone told him like you guys outsold the Bible or something like that for the first time ever. So he said in an interview something to the effect of
We're bigger than Jesus."
we're bigger than Jesus. And then people started like burning their albums. Like people were like,
It's like the Nike
"Fuck
year.
the Beatles." I mean, a couple times the Beatles would get in trouble. Someone also asked him like,
That's funny,
asked
just-
Paul McCartney if he ever did acid, and he was like, "Yeah." And so then kids started doing acid, but he handled it so well because then they're getting on him. They're like, "Yeah," and like you told everyone you did acid, so like now kids are doing acid. He's like, "Listen, somebody asked me a question. I answered it honestly. They went and told everybody. I didn't tell everybody. I had no plan to publicize this. You asked me a question. I answered it honestly. You told everybody. It's not me. It's you." Like he handled it so well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like you're the one who sensationalized this. and,
exactly. And like told everybody. Like this could have just been a private thing that nobody knew about, and it's just a thing about my life. But you told everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody knows. Now kids want to do acid because Paul McCartney did.
Yeah.
Paul McCarthy.
Paul McCarthy.
We were with our brother-in-law, and he just like gets things wrong all the time. And he was like, "Yeah," and it's like that guy Paul McCarthy, you know. I'm like, "Paul McCartney?" He's like, "Whatever." It's just
It's so fun for me because I'm also like terrible with idioms and I butcher sayings all the time, like really bad.
I've heard you say this.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
Steenisms.
There's a whole Steenisms.
Have you guys written them down? You should
Oh,
start
yeah.
writing them
I have a
they're-
note on my
Paul
phone.
and
I'm
my
looking around
sister,
for it.
Erin, pass a note back and forth about it. But
that
it's
me?
just fun to be around
Christina.
him because suddenly I'm not the only one that
Oh.
doesn't get him right. Like
He was like, there was a bunch of, like a bunch of fish. Yeah, like a ball of fish. And we're like, a school of fish? He's like, yeah, ball of fish, fool, whatever.
and then he's like, "You word police." He's just like, all of you guys, word police.
Yeah, he kept saying a few things. This is so good.
He's awesome.
It looks
Awesome
like I
like
fixed this
that.
mic problem. That's good. But yeah, I wonder like if there's a history of public apologies, you know?
Yeah, I was trying to think of is there any historical story that we're like aware of that like, oh yeah, that's a fucking apology video.
Nixon.
Nixon, whenever
Nixon went on on the news
Prime
and
time?
said like
Was that because of the whole thing that Forrest Gump saw?
Watergate.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? I gotta rewatch Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump saw Watergate because he's like at a hotel. He's like, yeah, there's lots of lights turned on next door.
Oh
And
my
it's like
god, I totally forgot about
He calls
that.
it in. He called Watergate in.
That's such a smart movie. I gotta rewatch that now that I know, like, understand historical context. you
Oh,
know?
it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Damn, but yeah, Nixon, Bill Clinton, apology video.
For the Lewinsky?
Yeah,
I did not have sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky.
but then I think he like after
He
that
took it
he took it back. He was like, I
Ah,
lied. I
whoa.
did have sexual relations with her. But I think if I remember correct, there's in some trailer stuff that he was like debating like, what do you mean by the word is? Or something like that. Like there was like he was like trying to lawyer his way through it. He's like, depends on your definition of the word is, or something like that. I gotta check it out. But yeah, public apologies have been around.
Well, I feel like once they're out there and, you've got a script to review, you can just shred it up. I mean, you can just tear it to pieces. Like, he used this word, it's so insensitive. Or like, and then you just are picking it apart. Like, you don't want to get it out in writing either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never
It's rough.
apologize.
It's just
don't apologize.
That's the key.
I
Well,
mean,
don't you want to like have to apologize for something?
Well, yeah, but I won't do it. I want it demanded of me. I want a public apology demanded of me. Yeah. For something like, I mean, okay, if I like really mess up, I probably would apologize, like.
are you kidding? You are the sweetest little soul. You'd be burdened with guilt. You'd be like,
Yeah, if it was something I actually felt bad about and I agreed, like, oh, I do want to apologize. But if someone was like saw a boyfriend's video and demanded an apology from me, I would just be like, oh, this is just the best.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
but
I think
no.
about that sometimes.
But no.
Or like the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, please come for me.
I showed somebody an island sketch recently. I think it was Christina. I showed her that island sketch, and I was just like, "Whoa, this did not age well."
Yeah.
And I love how bad it aged.
Which one? There was like
Thanksgiving
one.
one.
I was thinking of that. Yeah, we did a Thanksgiving sketch where it was like I come to my friend's Thanksgiving dinner, and we all go around saying what we're thankful for, and then our friend Bobby is like, "Well, it's been about a year and a half since I was raped by my uncle," and then like he looks at his uncle Joey, and Joey's like, so basically it's like Joey raped him when he was young, and like nobody like wants to acknowledge it. It's a weird sketch.
It's a weird sketch. I think it's so funny because
I don't even
everybody
know
was
how
like
to end.
characters.
Yeah. Brown is like, honey, this bird is delicious.
And Nixon's in there. It's like
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm thankful for God. 9/11 was so
Long ago.
Skip me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we've got a few of those. I mean, the full Riri, like I hope that comes up because that's actually really funny. Have you seen that one?
I'm not sure.
I forgot.
What
Wait,
one is
why?
it?
That's the one where we're like, Joey, we need to talk to you. Come here. And
Oh,
we're
yeah.
like, Joey, we
That
have
was
to tell you
hilarious.
something. You're retarded. And then he's like, no. Someone would have told me. And we're like, no. We're telling you now.
Someone would have
We're telling you right now. Like, and JC and I, we're both not retarded, so we know.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We talked about it. We know.
Yeah,
That's how we know you are. And it's pretty funny.
It's funny.
A funny apology situation was Norm Macdonald was on Howard Stern, and he said the word retarded. He said something like, "Oh, you'd have to be retarded to think that," and then he tried to like fix it, and he was like, "Oh, I mean, I guess I should have said like you'd have to have Down syndrome to do that or something."
Oh,
Like,
no.
so like in his apology, it like got worse, Yeah, in his apology it got worse, and then he had apologized for the apology, and so he went on The View. It was really weird.
The View?
Yeah, he went on The View and was saying like, I don't know. It was so funny.
There was I don't know how long ago it was, but Justin Timberlake apologized for the way he spoke to the press about his relationship with Britney Spears, because in the early
from back in the day.
back in the day. No, so the apology came out relatively recently, maybe within the last 5 years.
When all the Free Britney shit was popping.
When the Free Britney stuff, right, which is like suspect timing. Like, you're just now like gonna jump in on this opportunity to like.
Well, because there was a Free Britney documentary or something, and they really point out that like during their relationship, it was such bullshit that like
she was like sex shamed and like it just ridiculously
they're
sexually
like, you're a virgin, right? And
sexually
like, this is so weird.
objectified in every single waking moment, and then simultaneously shamed for having any sexual identity.
For sure.
Legitimately, it was like really weird. And yeah,
be a hot virgin. That's what we want.
Be a hot, pristine virgin, but also keep doing that belly dance for us. You know,
Be a virgin we can jack off to.
yeah. Like absolutely no winning.
That's the patriarchy.
But it was just funny because he's sitting there.
That is the patriarchy for sure. This is the patriarchy.
No, that's exactly what it is. And he's like referring to basically that concept too. It was like, I really, you know, you can find snarky moments where somebody will be like, yeah, and it's true that like she's a virgin or whatever, and you'll see him be like, you know, just like really, just never, I don't think explicitly say that they were having sex, but like dancing around it very clearly.
For sure.
And owning that. But it was also funny, a case for maybe not making the apology, because before he said that, I didn't know that he had made those comments.
Yeah, because now we're digging up all those fucking interviews.
I didn't know that he had like trashed her publicly in all those settings, and now I do.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, Justin.
It was also like, you got to think about Justin Timberlake back then. He was like, just could bang anything walking at that point in time. Like, he's got to be such a dick back then.
Right, and that
course.
entitlement is exactly what was coming through. And
it had been that way his whole life. He was in the Mickey Mouse Club, you know, when he was like 10. Like, his whole life, he was like, he's basically a child star.
You know what I think we're going to get another apology tour for? So Danny Masterson obviously just got sentenced.
We just got one. That's what I'm saying. It's a good month for apology videos.
Did he apologize?
The cooch.
Well, no, he didn't apologize. He went to jail.
No, I don't know.
But coochness, is that, should we do that?
Coochness.
Mila Kutcher and Coochness.
Cooncher.
Cooncher. That sounds like it.
So anyways,
hurts.
I had heard about their letters, and that, like, first of all, no, don't write those letters on behalf of somebody who's literally
the character letters,
in trouble for fucking raping women. No, don't do it.
What are you gonna say?
40 people wrote letters in his defense.
Yeah,
and
Okay.
I found this TikTok video the other day that suggests that they're all connected through Scientology, and that's why the letters kept coming
Are
in.
Ash and Mila Scientologists?
There's TikTok rumors that
Milston's
they
a
are.
Scientologist?
There's now rumors that they're closet
There's
Scientologists.
rumors
wow.
that they are, and that the list of people that wrote in support of him,
We're all Scientologists.
all Scientologists.
Okay, here's what I was going to say. It's not like, I mean, minus the Scientology thing, that kind of throws a wrench in what I'm about to say. But like, let's say a good friend of ours was on trial for like raping and murdering somebody. Mm-hmm. And they were like, dude, like, I didn't do it. Like, you know, maybe he's just a pathological liar. And he went to his friends and he was like, please, I need a character witness. And they're like, yeah, dude, of course you didn't do this. Like, I'll write a letter for the judge. Then 5 years later, after all this trial, it turns out he actually did do it. It's like, oh, fuck, I wrote that character letter when I was under the impression that, like, this was my friend who was a good guy and I was just trying to stand up for my friend. You know, like, are you supposed to just abandon your friend as soon as they're accused of something? You know what I mean? If you were accused of something, you were like, Paul, I didn't do it. I'd be like, okay, I believe you. Unless there was, like, some evidence against that. But I'd be like, I believe you. And if people ask me about it, I'll say, he's my friend. He didn't do that.
I agree with you. If it was a situation where we're so famous and that the amount of evidence is so grand, because it's very hard to get like into trial for rape in general, let alone 20 years post the fact.
Exactly.
It's very difficult. The amount of evidence has to be so concrete.
Yeah.
Like, to especially be put away to almost 30 years, like for literally 30 years.
Right.
It's extremely concrete.
Well, if I eventually saw the evidence,
thing.
I'd be like,
That's true.
okay,
Sorry,
I was
guys.
wrong.
I'm
You know, like, I'm standing up for my friend. Actually, now looking at all the evidence, he did do it, and I was wrong.
That type of apology, I think, would be a better situation instead of what occurred.
There's your apology tour right there.
But I feel you on that. I understand that.
I think I'd be with the women. I'd be with the victims, I'd like to think.
Well, I would want to talk to them.
I mean, I
I'd be
would feel
like,
bad, but I would just be like, I'm not comfortable writing a character witness right now.
But it's also
Considering the context of these accusations that are coming at you.
And there's also a terrible fact about humanity in life is that sometimes you love people but don't know who they actually are, or they can have a certain like John Wayne Gacy had a whole fucking family and he like murdered young boys. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's also that aspect too. You just don't know
that somebody can be both good and bad at the same time, and you only know the good, but that doesn't eliminate the fact that they're fucking out there assaulting people.
Of course, I'm just saying, if I would have to see the evidence and it would have to be proven to me that my friend did that. And if you just asked me quick, I would say, I don't think he did that. Like, if I see evidence that he did, if you prove to me he did, I will change my tune. But that's my friend. I've known him for 20 years. I really don't think he would do that.
I think
I would be saying that. And then if he got convicted of whatever, they'd be like, oh, what the fuck, Paul? Like 5 years ago, you said like, he's your friend. Like, and now we're going to use that against you. It's like, I don't know that that's fair because I didn't have the evidence.
With that being said, what if your friend was just known to be like a skeevy dude? Like you knew he was like a sketchy guy. Because in the Danny Masterson sense, it is kind of like that. You can go back to any interview with this motherfucker and he says just like the sketchiest, like, whoa, shit. There's a specific interview that they pulled up on Twitter of like him and on Conan O'Brien or whatever. And he just makes some like, lewd comment about women or whatever. And Conan O'Brien's like, I've heard about you. He's like, they'll catch you one day.
I know, I saw that.
But
Conan says things like that to a lot of people.
This is true. But still, like what he said though, like, every interview with Danny Masterson, if you like look up like the things that he says, you can tell what his view on women is, and that just like
that's exactly what creates like a rape culture where rapists can hide in plain sight and they'll sit here and make a joke on national television on like a huge show and it's just dismissed with a fucking laugh.
1,000%.
That pisses me off.
And it was also the era too, like prior to like phones, like social media and phones and stuff. So like they're like running amok in imagine being famous in the 90s in Hollywood, like
or like
it was
go earlier, like Bill
crazy.
Cosby. Bill Cosby was on shows saying like, and then you like slip a girl a Mickey. Like he said that on public TV and interviews, and it's like everyone's just like
everyone's uncomfortable and doesn't know how to handle it and just like makes a joke and moves on. It's so bizarre. But like Ashton Kutcher too is not the right person to send a character witness to because he's sitting there as like a 21-year-old flirting with Mila Kunis, having her on her lap, who's 14 years old, talking about how good it feels to have her on his lap. I mean, he's not the character witness that people that Danny needed in that moment. He's just
obviously it didn't help him.
And by apologizing, by sending that letter publicly, he opened himself up to just the fine comb to what's the word?
Fine-tuned comb.
Fine-toothed
Why did I fuck it up?
A fine-toothed comb.
Fine-toothed comb.
Is that the saying?
Going through
like when a comb is fine-toothed.
Right.
So
can't get anything through it.
Your life is getting
everything
hit with a fine-toothed comb.
It's not easy to say that one.
Do you ever hear a saying or I don't know, like a saying, but you just never, your brain never thinks about what the words are in the saying. It's
Literally,
just like
always.
you just know how like it sounds. That was the first time I've ever heard the tooth in fine tooth comb.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Something like that happened to me recently, but I can't think of what it was. But the Statue of Liberty, we just say the Statue of Liberty, but it's a statue of the goddess Liberty. So that's Liberty, the goddess. Like the Roman or the Greek goddess Liberty.
Oh, it's not the idea.
That's a statue of her.
Oh, it's
like if her name was Gina, it'd be a statue of Gina.
Yeah,
but she's Liberty.
But it's not the idea. It's not Liberty.
No, it's the goddess. It's just named Liberty. I mean, who represents like liberty and freedom.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, and all that associations with the phrase liberty is based off the attributes of the goddess Liberty. So they're kind of more connected.
Of course. No, it was given to us by like a Frenchman
random.
who made it like in solidarity because the American Revolution, the French Revolution, we were like kind of the two like original democracies. Like fuck the patriarchy. No, fuck the monarchy. So it was like a gift but yeah, her name is Liberty. It's a statue of Liberty. But your whole life you just say Statue of Liberty. Like you don't really think about it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I just always attributed freedom to a woman in a toga.
Right. With a
torch.
Book.
Reading
a book and burning shit. Yeah, man.
Did you think or what was I going to ask? Oh my god, I just lost it. Never mind.
Well, one of my favorite sort of apologies that nobody asked for was the Jenna Marbles. Like when Black Lives Matter was like really hitting, Jenna Marbles goes on and apologized for like playing racial characters back in the day. She's like 10 years ago on my YouTube channel, I would like be a Latina character, like do a black voice or something like that.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh yeah, fuck you. Like nobody was even thinking about it. No one was talking about it. And then she makes this apology video and everyone's like, yeah, wow, you fucking suck. And then it really damaged her image.
I don't know who Jenna Marbles is.
She's like one of the original YouTubers. One of the first people to pop off on YouTube.
Yeah. What did they do?
On YouTube?
Whenever I think
a lot of sketches. Like, I mean, people also forget like how time changes. Like offensive comedy, like the boyfriend stuff in 2012 wasn't that offensive. Like
the island stuff.
The island stuff. Sorry, that's what I mean. The island stuff. It really like It does not feel the same way it feels today.
No,
it
I
was
feel
just
you.
a looser. You kind of say the craziest shit you could say because like that's funny to say crazy shit. Like it's not the same as today. So original YouTube was just
Yeah, it was the wild, wild west of creative shit.
yeah, great and just like be offensive. Like be as offensive as you could be sometimes. That's kind of the joke. Like and people just so to look at it now, it's like it's insane because if you made that today, you're insane.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like the Prince Harry tell-all. Do you think we'll eventually get an apology from like writing on the tell-all?
What's the
Think
tell-all?
What's going on?
Oh, his memoir.
What do you say?
What about it?
Oh, he just like rips the royal family to shreds.
But isn't he
And-
Princess Diana's kid?
Yeah, but
yeah, rip him to shreds.
Wait, what was the? It's like, what's this? What is the title of the book?
Well-
It's like the other son or the forgotten son or something along. I forget what the title is, but it's like basically
The fun one.
like the one. What is it?
He is. He's the fun one. He's like does drugs and dresses like a Nazi.
What?
He went to a Halloween party dressed as a Nazi one time and like had the
Fuck.
swastika armband and stuff, and everyone got all mad. But wait, who would apologize for the book? Harry would apologize, or the
I
Roman,
wonder
or
if
the royal
eventually
family?
he's going to be like, I shouldn't have said all this about my family. Oh, spare. That's what it is. He's the spare son that like they don't really need him because he's number 2. So I haven't read the book. I don't know what all's in there, but I just wonder if
So you think
eventually.
he'll apologize to his family,
You think? I mean, he really
or would
fucking.
his,
Aren't they-
would his
he
family
undid
eventually
his whole
apologize
life
to
to
him?
publish that book. He really.
Aren't they dead?
Aren't they dead?
No, his dad is the king of England.
That guy's still alive.
Yeah, King Charles. He just became the king.
For
I
some
know.
reason.
I saw him the other day, and I was like, I don't even think I could fucking name those people. I'm like, that's Charles. Who the hell is that?
And that's the bitch that he cheated on Diana with.
Yeah, Camilla's still around. Like, fuck you, Camilla. Get
Camilla
out
Harris?
of here.
Camilla
No.
Harris is in both houses right now. She's a double agent. She can't be trusted. I mean, I wonder if the royal family would ever apologize
For all
to
their-
Harry, like go the other way.
No, because they are too smart to issue an apology statement. They will never do
I
it.
thought you're gonna be. I was gonna be like, for what colonialization? Like, what are they gonna
Ruining the
Seriously.
world.
apologize for?
Ruining everybody's freedom.
Yeah, I mean the Prince Andrew stuff. They were smart. They didn't even touch it, right?
Right. They won't. Their PR
And that
team.
was an apology that nobody asked for, where he fucked himself.
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew
Really, like, fuck-
was like amidst the Jeffrey Epstein accusations.
Yeah. Oh, because there's so many pictures with him with like.
Yeah. So he was like, he asked for an interview on the news to like clear his name, and
You
it
don't
did
do it.
not go well. He's like the funny, like, because the girl accusing him was like, yeah, and he was like hugging me, and he was all sweaty, and he's like, see,
I don't
the thing
sweat.
that I don't sweat.
Yeah.
Or he's like, or at least I didn't at the time.
Who the fuck
It's just-
says that?
And it was just like leaving that interview like, oh, you're a rapist. Like you've just confirmed it. Like, yeah, people. I mean, I'm glad he did that because it, like he's a bad guy, so it really made him
For sure.
made us so much more aware of it. But yeah, people really fucked themselves. Like, say nothing.
Say nothing. Yeah. Also, you're like royal.
Yeah.
Like, are you that bored in life that you're like, I should probably apologize for this?
Right. If
Yeah.
you're royal,
I
why
can
do you
clear
think?
this up too. Like the arrogance.
Yeah.
To this. In fact, if they just hear from a prince, they're gonna love
Yeah,
it.
these peasants will never see through this.
Yeah. I could talk my way out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so hyper interesting. I think the lack of awareness of like the culture of like just the real world, I think is so interesting to me. That's why, in a sense, like going back to like the Drew Barrymore apology thing, I find it hyper interesting because I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, she's like not in touch at all. But it makes sense because she's been like fucking rich since she was like 5.
Right. How could she be?
Exactly. So it's like not like a part of me is like, it's not your fault, you know?
Who was saying that? Who went on a date with Drew Barrymore?
Oh,
Yeah.
we have a code name for him.
So a
You have to
friend
watch it
of
on YouTube if you want to know who he was.
our pal went on a date, and what did she say about moving?
She said a comment.
Allegedly, for
yeah.
legality's sake.
Allegedly, she was.
yeah.
JC could tell the story.
Allegedly, she went on a date with him, and they were in Runyon Canyon, and they were talking about the homeless problem in LA. And he's a comedian, or like is and funny. And she looked at him dead in the eyes and was like, "Yeah, maybe we should just round them all up and just put them on some island somewhere." And then he
Right.
laughed, and she didn't. And she just like allegedly just like stared him down,
Stoic.
like, right? Like waiting for him to agree. And the irony of that situation is that that's what turned him off. He was like, "Nope, not going on a second date."
Yeah.
That's a good. That's a I respect that turnoff.
That's a hard
always
no.
like-
That's a hard no.
Yeah.
You can always tell too, certain celebrities will like over the years, you know, the kind of crap that goes in magazines is like, you know, ripping off a celebrity style or whatever. Sometimes it's like an interview with a celebrity to like tell you their favorite choices, right? Like these are what I'm getting for gifts this year or whatever. And like
For sure.
these are all the affordable gifts. And then it's like a $300 hand towel. And you're like, bitch, that is not affordable. Like we are not going to buy a $300 hand towel. Like that's just not how we live. But the fact that they think that that's like the affordable, approachable
Oh my God.
product guide is ridiculous.
There's one that just happened. Again, we're in a great month for apology things. Fucking Oprah's doing like an apology tour because of the Hawaii thing. And she was on like Good Morning America or some shit, like what's it called, promoting her new book or some bullshit. But they obviously brought up the whole like Hawaii and the, what's it called, her trying to raise money. Anyway, she was like, yeah, we're in she like victim blame basically. Like she's like, yeah, everybody's just like angry at me for trying to do a good thing, blah, blah, blah. Fuck, I forgot what she said. Oh, she was like, yeah, you know, because we go to these benefits and people drop, you know, like 10 million here and 10 million there. It's like, bitch, nobody goes to benefits. Like your average person doesn't go to a fucking benefit. You know what I mean? That's like
Right.
I'm extremely rich person. Also, 10 mil is your base number.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's going on in the world.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, and it was like, how much money you expect us to raise? Why don't you just give them money? You know, like help out. You know, like that's the real.
The interesting thing about that is that so more financially literate human beings have like gone about like looking into that or like talk about like how celebrities use these benefits and or fundraisers in order to basically get like tax-free money. And a lot of times these big fundraising things, because you know the what's it called, the financials are all public. So if you like go back and look at them, a lot of the money never really necessarily goes. It's like maybe 10% goes to the actual fund that they're trying to raise. And then there's all these people on payroll that over a year's time happens to be in the same camp. So it's like, that's sketchy, right? And also whenever, that was like a big thing with The Rock and Oprah. That's why everyone freaked the fuck out, because they're like, they basically use the money to start the company and then you pay all the money. And then your money goes into it instead of them just using their funds exactly and just doing that, because then it's like a tax-free way to like cash flow, to like kind of hide cash flow, right? This became such a big thing that after the Kuchness and their fucking apology video, that the company that he works for, Thorne or whatever, that like is supposed to be helping kids and shit like that, people did a deep dive on that, so much so that he just recently stepped down as one of the like main CEOs or founder or whatever. No, Ashton fucking Kutcher.
Ashton.
Because he does like a child sex trafficking, like.
Yeah, like we save
thing.
kids.
Yeah, to like save kids. So what
supposedly what I understand is that the company is like a tech company that sells information to like FBI and CIA people in order to help try and like find kids, right? But there's a weird I saw this in like multiple TikToks and then I like looked it up just because there's links and shit. But then there's also supposedly the heads of those, like the founders and the people that started it, all have like odd connections with Scientology and also have odd connections with like people who have been ousted as like pedophile ring people in like Hollywood. So yeah, so it's just weird. It's like weird and messy. And then for Cooch Boy to fucking step down like literally like 2 days ago, like very recently, as like one of the, you know, people in the chair or in the board.
Well, probably as a result of the bad apologies and the letter he wrote.
Yeah.
He's like no longer got a lot of positive associations with him right now.
And this is another reason not to apologize, because then you will be scrutinized. As soon as your apology comes out, just like fucking, what's it called, the Prince, you know, nobody gave a fuck. Jenna Marbles, no one gave a fuck. Now we're all magnifying glass to your shit.
Yeah, say nothing. Like the Danny Masterson would have just blown over.
Had they not written
they said nothing. But now it's like, we're not even talking about Danny Masterson's crimes. We're talking about
Ashton Kutcher.
Milston.
Milston.
You know?
The Kuchness.
The Kuchness. Yeah, that's a tough one to put together. They should break up.
The Hawaii situation feels like one of the greatest conspiracy theories that's come around in a long time to me.
Okay, I love a good conspiracy theory.
Tell me about it.
But the blue is the one thing that freaks me the fuck out about the whole thing. There's also this one dude on TikTok specifically who like lives in Hawaii and who's like just actively going to where like the area is that's burnt and is actively like filming and getting kicked out, right? But a hyper interesting thing, and this could also be fabricated because we also live in a time where like I can fucking deep fake someone, you know?
Sure.
And deep fakes are like probably like 2 to 3 years away from being like so perfect. It's like scary. But there's footage of Lahaina burnt down, and anything painted blue is not burnt. Anything with the color blue on it. They're like, there's a car melted here, but then there's a car next to it that's blue. Not.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Well, what would that imply?
yeah.
Well, I have no idea, but like there's the theory is that there's like that we have the governments or whatever have like laser technology that can do burn things, but at a certain frequency of color or whatever. So like if it's blue, it doesn't burn. And then another weird, this again conspiracy theory. I love this shit. It's fun. But another weird conspiracy theory thing too is that because Oprah's house was close to there, like her big ass house.
Yep.
Right before all this shit happened, like and it's you can go on like Google Maps and like see like older satellite pictures. Like her roofs became blue like just a year ago. Like she just painted everything blue. Like it, yeah. So that's yeah.
So it's that classic like they're shooting lasers from space to start these fires.
Something like that. And then there's also too that area specifically has been very famous for natives sticking to their land. Like people have been trying to buy it up for fucking ever, and they've just held their ground. And it just so happens that happens. That happened. Not only that, then there's also the kids missing, which is a weird thing. Did you hear about that?
I heard that there was still a lot of unaccounted for kids, but I didn't hear any sort
From the fires, like
scandalousness
amidst the
about
fires,
that.
kids are disappearing.
Yeah, just like children were missing. Like an odd amount of children like just went missing.
So
like,
the
body's not accounted for. Yeah.
The things I heard that were suspect were like, first of all, the emergency alert system was not activated. And I heard that the reason for that was because they were afraid that they would think that that was the tsunami warning, which the protocol for tsunami warning is to go inland to higher ground. And that's where the fires were mainly happening. So they didn't want people to rush inland.
Okay.
So, okay, maybe that's true. Don't know. But bizarre that there's no warning whatsoever. I also heard that people were trying to stay on site and fight the fire on their own house, and that their hoses weren't working, that the water had been turned off. Suspect. So there was also all sorts of like warnings and stuff with the utilities company and problems with
I heard about that.
all these things that the utility company ignored and just refused to address, and like that's basically
Damaged power lines, things like that.
lines. But it was also like clearing the brush and stuff around there that was so problematic that they just chose not to, or whatever, neglected to do. I'm trying to think if there was other things. And then just like the sheer, I mean, right away, people were saying that they had developers calling them and being like, can we buy this land from you? Like, I mean, the fire's not even done burning yet. It's still crackling, and they're out there like poaching the land. So that was definitely showing me that there was like this opportunistic like pouncing that was happening on these poor people. And then the latest I saw is that like they've completely builded a wall around Lahaina.
Built.
What did I say?
Doesn't
They
matter.
builded? Did I just say they builded?
You said build.
Yeah.
I just said they builded a wall?
Yep.
They
That's
don't build
really
it a wall.
embarrassing.
They built a wall.
That's really
They
embarrassing.
don't build it a wall. But they built a wall.
Wow, yeah, they
Sorry
sure
for
did.
correcting you.
No, please. I didn't even hear it. I didn't hear it at all. But like they built this like 5 or 6 foot wall wrapping the city, not letting people in anymore, and they don't want you to see what's going on in the wall. So now they're like isolating people from the land, saying that it's unfit to go back in. And that was the other thing. Apparently there's some like legislature policy thing that like if the land is deemed unfit for habitation, like you can't live there, that they can like change ownership of it without actually having to offer the
Like it becomes the states now.
yeah, it becomes like a biohazard that's the state's responsible to like remediate, like they're supposed to deal with it. So it's possible that all this shit happened just as a massive land grab because these people were holding out and they didn't bite at the money carrot that was being dangled in front of them.
Wow.
And so that they had to do something to get them out.
It's possible. I mean, it is some of the most valuable land
Exactly.
on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's American soil. So it's like, that makes it
Arguably.
even more valuable. But yeah, people have been, like, I listened to a podcast about the history of Hawaii. And it's just been a constant, like, trying to utch out
The Hawaiians?
the Hawaiians forever and
Terrible.
taking away their government's power. It's pretty gnarly. Like it was like the sugar growers became very powerful in Hawaii when Hawaii was still a separate country. Mm-hmm. And the sugar growers became so powerful in Hawaii, they like basically formed a militia and like went to the king or whoever the president, it was a monarchy, went to the king's place. I think they forced the queen like to sign away
At gunpoint.
the country. Yeah. At gunpoint.
Wow.
It was called like it was like a musket constitution or whatever. There was like the constitution ended up being called something like that because it was signed at gunpoint.
Whoa.
And like then the American government, so that queen was like famous and like was friends with like Queen Elizabeth and stuff, or I don't know, the Queen of England at the time. I forget exactly what year this was, but it was like 1800s or something. But anyway, she went to the American government and protested, and they were like, okay, like we get it, you're right, like you should have your land back, like this is not cool. And then they were like, the guys who did this to you that live in Hawaii, like they're American citizens, like what would you do with them? And she's like, oh, we'll behead them. And they were like, like we can't let you behead them, so we're not going to give you your country back. And so like it's kind of like a badass stance she took, like yeah, we're going to fucking kill them.
We're gonna kill them.
Like this was
There
so
you go.
not cool. But that actually ended up making the American government being like, we can't allow that, so we're going to keep it. And and it's just been a shit show since then, you know, and like, yeah, people buying the land. But it's weird, like with the opportunisticness, it's always easy to go like, oh, they seized this opportunity, so they probably caused the problem. But anytime there's any problem, natural or not, someone's going to find an opportunity in it. You know, like COVID was
Sure.
real disease that swept the whole world. And some people said, oh, we can make so much money off of this. Like, we're going to sell vaccines. We can sell masks. We can sell like, hand sanitizer.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that they caused COVID. That just means they saw an opportunity to make a lot of money off of something.
Sure.
But it would not be the first time that rich people
No.
did some shady shit to get more money and more power.
Yeah.
No,
Grift is gonna
I mean,
grift.
this has been an ongoing issue for a long time. And, it's just, who knows? Who knows if it's just correlation or causation?
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
No way to know at this point in time. But
a
I feel
tale as
like
old
it
as
should
time.
be illegal to. It's just so gross, that
To
human
take land?
behavior to as somebody's mourning and in such a tragic situation, and they're so down on their luck, to go in there and just, it's predatory. It's just
Yeah.
predatory to just pounce on them and be like, I know you don't know where your food and water is coming from tonight. Can I offer you $700,000 less of value for your house that just burned down? Like, it's just really despicable.
But like, that's the nice way to do it. In
What?
history, it would just be, we're going to conquer you, we're going to enslave you,
Yeah, but
and
we
we're
know
going to
better.
kill you.
We got to do better.
I agree.
That
but like,
context doesn't.
It's better now than it was 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago, they would have just taken Hawaii. They would have just killed everybody, taken Hawaii. Hawaii originally became one nation. It used to be each island, or there was like a bunch of different tribes. And then it was like Captain Cook or some pirate, like some colonizing guy, British guy or something, landed in Hawaii, met one king, showed him guns. And that guy was like, oh, cool. I'm about to take over all of Hawaii now. And so he took the guns and he conquered every other tribe, and made one unified Hawaii. And that was like, that's the monarchy that eventually then got snuffed out. So like there is sort of this natural like snuffing out. It's happened forever, and it's hard to imagine it not happening. And it's certainly really hard to turn back
I
the
can
pages.
imagine it not happening if women ruled the world.
You think so?
I do. I think it would be a much more peaceful,
Gotta watch
possible.
the Barbie movie.
equitable, empathetic place where we wouldn't do shit like that.
It's possible, but women would never get in charge because the men are they're too vigorous. They wouldn't allow it, Like
Well, fight back when we cut off your heads.
maybe. I mean, I would love that. I would love a more peaceful, less alpha driven society.
Me
That's all
too.
about like, we need to win. We need to defeat others. We need to be a
I
winner.
think
Therefore, there's a loser.
The reality is, in my mind, is that it's humanity against death, right? Like we need to work together to survive on planet Earth. That's to me. Like I think we should all be united in that goal, because I think as climate change and like things get more inhospitable around here, it's gonna be more and more arbitrary of like what country you're from. Like we're gonna have to be global citizens because we're gonna have to figure some stuff out.
Let's go to the moon.
Let's go to the moon, y'all.
Going to
go to
Mars.
Mars.
Pack your bags.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of an argument for pro globalization. Like it's a scary thing to picture one world government, but it's possible that it would be uniting. We'd all be like Plato had like a utopian that he sort of mapped out. He was like, a perfect society would have this, this, and this. Those people would have that. Everyone would kind of work together. That's a utopian society. And he was trying to like build that in Greece. And like, that would be cool if the whole earth got to a point where we figured out like, this would be just the best kind of way for everybody to live peacefully. But it's like, first, let's say you get to that point. The whole world is operating peacefully. We all kind of work together. There's still someone over here, like, he's like, I could probably take this over. Like, so you have to have a huge force to stop people like that from trying to take over your peaceful world.
Yeah.
So, like, you need still so much military and aggression. Like, otherwise people are just going to take it.
I wonder, though. I wonder if it gets to a point, like, if some, like, thousands of years in the future, where we get to a point where everyone just kind of has what they need, because I feel like that always comes from a lack, that kind of thing, like that want of power, whether it be an emotional or not a physical thing of just, it's a need thing, right? What if we get to a point where everyone's needs are just completely met? Like, I wonder what would arise from that. Like,
I don't think that we'll ever get
Oprah's
there.
needs are met.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, like, as humans, we're just such weird little sabotagey things. Like, I feel like utopia would just bring a new, weirder set of problems eventually too. Like, I don't know.
I mean, there would definitely be like unintended consequences and stuff that would come up for sure, but
there's this guy on this like dude that got interviewed on TikTok, whatever, or like I saw some interview from like some documentary from like the 70s or something like that. But he claims to be like a time traveler, and he's like, yeah, I've been to 23, 32, whatever the fuck, and he goes into detail about like working for the government, and then going into seeing the future. But anyway, whether it be false or not, his version of the future was really interesting, where there's like 7 large cities in the world. Like everyone, it's like a global kind of like what's it called, government. Let's go one government thing, but it's not people that are governing things. Every large city, and there's also floating cities that can just like move wherever they want, but every large city is governed by an AI, and the AI has been around so long that people don't even know who made it. It's just like something that's been lost in history. They're just like, yeah, it's just here. And but everyone's needs are met, and you get like you as long as you're contributing to society, that's how you stay in the cities. If you don't want to, like for like the rebels or whatever the fuck, just go out into like nature. There's like nature outside of the cities that people just like live kind of tribally or whatever. But like that, if you want to do that, just do that. But like you can like live in the cities. But yeah, and then
cool.
if you like fuck up or whatever, or do something wrong, you just have to have an interview with the AI, and they deem you fit enough to be in the city or not, and they either kick you out and you go live in nature, or you stay.
Governments and cities being run by AI, I think, is an accurate assumption. And it's scary to think about, but I think it's also possibly really great. Because if you ask someone right now, hey, how do we fix America's economy? Their answer is going to be based on how will it benefit me, my friends, and like how does it fit into my ideology? Yeah. Versus ask an AI,
just logic.
How do we fix the American? And it's going to run a trillion possibilities in 1 second and say, that's the best way to go. Do this.
Like, moon.
Go to the moon. Go to the moon. Yeah. So yeah, I think AI maybe is what's gonna kind of save us. It's possible. I think also we're going deep now, but like when our brains are all connected, and
right around the corner,
like I can send you not only information, I can send you my emotions, I can send you my memories, I can just give you everything. Like, so you know me 100%. I know you 100%. You know Donald Trump 100%. He knows you 100. Everybody knows everybody through and through, no filter, 100%. We just become one kind of like one entity that is kind of more. I mean, it's the ultimate empathy and compassion for each other. It's like the ultimate understanding of one another. No more lying, no more confusion, no more like ego. It's
so interesting because you're explaining what a lot of people say they feel in NDEs and near-death experiences. They're just like coming back to the one that like we're all like the same thing. It's like, it's kind of like what if we get to a point in technology where we like reach a unified consciousness together that almost is the exact same thing of what happens in the afterlife, if we even get to the point of like, figuring out what the fuck is next, or that's hyper interesting.
Wasn't there a guy recently too that like it was like an old white supremacist, like white nationalist, who was like, I did MDMT and now I'm no longer racist.
I believe that.
Did you see that? He's
No.
like basically doing MDMT made
DMT.
me whatever.
MGMT.
There's MDMA and there's DMT.
What did I say?
MGMT.
You did MDMT. It's okay.
Don't say I didn't warn you folks, okay?
There's DMT and there's MDMA.
MDMA is the one I'm referring to. Yes?
That's like ecstasy.
Like
Yeah,
ecstasy. Yeah, he did ecstasy and then he's like, basically I just felt connected with the entire world and like made me realize that like we're all part of the same thing, and like I was hating on people and I'm the same as them. They're the same as me.
Beautiful.
I just never knew. And so you just really got to do more drugs, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible we are already a collective consciousness and we just don't know. Like a tree is conscious and the forest also is a consciousness.
It's so
but
true.
the tree doesn't know the consciousness of the whole. It only knows its own consciousness. But the whole forest is itself conscious.
And
Maybe.
yeah. We're also I think that my favorite part about like discovering things right now in the world is that we're discovering that certain things have consciousness that we didn't realize. Like for instance, plants have consciousness, and plants speak in frequencies. They're social beings. But the interesting thing is that we have this idea of consciousness right now only because of our experience, right? Our idea of consciousness is that we can think about ourselves. But what's to say a rock doesn't have consciousness? You know what I mean? So like I don't know.
Or
I
a
like
cell.
Exactly, a cell. This could be a cell. The whole fucking universe could be us inside inside of a cell of some other animal or whatever the fuck.
But like if you think about a cell on your hand, let's say it's conscious, it's self-aware. And it's maybe telling its buddy like, dude, we're like all part of like this one thing, which is like you know? They're like, we're part of Paul, you know? And like I'm conscious, but there's also, I'm made up of little conscious things. If that's true, that means the whole universe is itself conscious. One conscious entity, and we're the little conscious cells within it.
Yeah, like that saying, we're like the universe experiencing itself.
Yeah, basically. But also like, so like that, let's call that God, that one big consciousness. But like the cell on my hand can't talk to me, can't pray to me. I can't help it. I can't do anything for it. All I can ask is that like it's performs its job as a cell to like benefit the whole. And like it can't meet me, you know, like you can't meet God, like it can't ever even understand like who I am or how I think. You know, it's like I don't know where I'm going with this, but
That's all good.
But that's kind of where like if that's true, if a cell is conscious, then I think that means the entire universe is conscious, because like consciousness makes single consciousness. Maybe the Earth has a single consciousness. We just don't. And like we're part of it. We're feeding into it, just like the cells are all feeding into my single consciousness.
No, for sure. It's funny that you say that. I had this thought the other day, but whenever we talk about environmentalism or people trying to do better for the climate in general, they're fucking up in a PR sense to me, because they should always speak about the world and just call it mother, like mother nature, like mother. This thing is the mother to us. Like as far as we know, this is where we came from.
This is where our life comes from.
Yeah, we came up from the muck, guys. But it was like, this is mom. So like, fucking take care of mom. You know, like that's what Greta
And
Thunberg should be fucking doing instead of
Yeah.
getting arrested all the time.
I mean, she's living her life, you know. But yeah, I mean,
You made it seem like she's a party girl. She's living her
she's
life.
raging.
I feel bad for her. She's got the weight of the world on her shoulders. She feels so. I mean, I'm grateful for her, but man, she's really like, if you ever watch the videos of her and stuff, she is so clear that she just cannot take a break.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's such a worthwhile fight, and I feel so much anxiety and like worry over the future. Like I share that thought process with her, but yeah, man, she just can't put that down for a minute to be doing anything else.
True.
Yeah, and like God forbid she like gets in a taxi and everyone's like, "Oh, you're polluting!" Like,
right? I know. People are like, she flies all over the world. I'm like, yeah, maybe she does, but like she tries not to. And what is she doing when she gets there? She's not like going on a vacation and taking shots. She's going to a conference to like pour out her heart and soul and energy into.
Yeah, I bet her family that lives like because she's from Netherlands, right?
I think so.
yeah.
She's like Dutch. It'd be funny if she's like in the States and then she's like, yeah, I got to go home. It's like, oh, cool for like Christmas, but it takes her a month to get there because she has a sale.
Yeah.
It's just a walk. Yeah. On a
So
donkey.
funny. I was reaching out to a bunch of authors to come speak at our school, and some of them are like California based and others weren't, and so I had to be like, are you willing to travel? And this one author, she's like, yeah, I'm definitely, I'm willing to come, but I only travel by train. She's like, I'm in Connecticut. Would that work? She's like, it'll take about 4 to 5 days. And I'm like, I don't think so, but let me get back to you. Like, I'm like,
Only
no,
by
lady.
train.
I love how like it would work. You're just like, nah, I'm not booking trains for you.
Well, I'm not booking trains for her. I'm not booking
You're like,
trains.
that's like 7 trains I gotta book.
That just makes her hourly rate like astronomical. I'm not going to book
it's
she's going to
not
come
less
for
practical.
a 45-minute presentation, and I'm supposed to have her travel for 5 days for 45 minutes. That Greta would not approve. I can't do that.
Well, I bet the trains take less fuel than a plane.
Sure, but it's just not it's not a effective
efficient.
way of using resources.
Also, we're in the
Smart.
States, like just the worst for trains.
Also, just like Zoom at that point, like zoom in, like if you could say, no, I'm unwilling to travel. I'll do a virtual visit. And that would also be fine.
That's funny.
It's silly.
Yeah.
That's like John Madden. Didn't John Madden like refuse to take planes?
He only took buses, yeah.
Yeah.
Took
I
his
think
bus
I'm
everywhere.
on pace for that. Like we should take as many trips as we can now because I don't have that many flights left in me.
Really?
Yeah, I think eventually I'm going to refuse to fly.
I love
Fear
flights.
of flying
Hate flying.
or pollution.
A little bit of both, mainly my fear. I just don't like it. It's really stressful on my body. I read something the other day talking about climate change is actually making flights more turbulent because there's like something about there's like increased heat pockets and like they're more unpredictable and there's like all this stuff that's happening that's basically making flights more turbulent. And I mean, turbulence in general isn't crashing planes all the time.
Yeah.
But I still don't like it. I don't want to sit on a flight for 4 hours, sitting there fucking white knuckling it and just waiting to be back on the ground. Like, I'm not into that.
Oh, so you like hyper focus on the fact you're in the air when you're up there?
Yeah.
Oh man, my brain shuts off. I'm just like about to watch a show.
I was always like such an easygoing kid. But I have pictures of me as a baby, like on flights, just inconsolable. Like I've hated it my entire life. I feel uncomfortable in the air, like super. And I'm not sitting there being like, oh, we're going down, we're crashing. But like physically, my body is sweating, hot flashes. My hands are like sweating. My heart's racing the whole time.
Maybe you like fell off a cliff in a past life or something.
I don't know. Maybe I fucking died in a plane crash. I mean, I'm Amelia Earhart. I don't know.
I'm Amelia Earhart.
I don't know, but something real is happening inside of my body.
That's funny. Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be train folk.
But my grandma's like that. She wouldn't fly.
I got a good plane story that I had recently, actually.
Oh, is it a scary one? Because I'm not sure I can handle that.
No, it's not. No, from my perspective, it's a slightly existential kind of crazy thing, and
Okay.
and we're talking about like kind of souls and consciousness and stuff. So on the flight, whenever I left LA last time, maybe like 4 weeks ago, I was going to Puerto Vallarta. I get on the flight and I sit down. I'm on the window. Right next to me sits this like older black guy, and I remember him sitting down. He just like looked kind of cool. I was like, all right, cool. He's cool. Sitting there watching a show. I'm in the middle of watching a show. Like this is like 40 minutes into the flight. In the middle of watching, like my phone is in front of me. I have headphones on. You can tell I'm watching a thing. And this guy like taps me, and I look to him. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Do you need something? Older guy. He's like in his like 70s. And he's like, you ever been to where we're going? And I was like, yeah, I have. And then I had a moment where I could like, how do I attack this situation? Because like if it was odd for him to take me out of my theater, and I could have been like annoyed by it, or I could have like, hugged the situation. So I decided to hug it. I was like, all right, cool. I'll pause this and I'll like, maybe he's got a great story to tell me, So I tell him about Puerto Vallarta. We start talking, and he just like kind of just goes off and starts telling me about his life and how he used to travel to Germany whenever he was younger, and he like played guitar, and he's a folk singer, and him and his friends would like play folk songs. And he's like, yeah, that's how I used to get girls to fall in love with me, blah, blah, blah. And then I noticed his hands, and his hands were arthritis hands, and they were almost in the same position as my grandfather's. So my grandfather had arthritis before he passed away, and it was like really like kind of gnarly for him. And I remember like in like the last like decade of his life, it was so bad that he would they would buy like bees, and he would like have them sting his, because there's something with the bee venom that supposedly helps the arthritis and like the muscles and stuff.
Wow.
But like he tried so many things to like, get the arthritis
mobility back.
Exactly. So, but I remember, and it became very clear to me too, because they came by for like drinks and stuff, and the guy asked for tea, and the lady was handing it to him, and he was just like trying to grab it. So like I grabbed it for him, and then he's like, "Do you mind helping me like open like the little honey thing or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So me and him are talking, and his name is Cyril Paul. What a fucking cool name, Cyril Paul.
Does he have cerebral palsy?
That's hilarious. So anyway, I'm talking to this dude, and he's like, tell me about his life. He's there with his daughter. They live in California. He used to live in Detroit. I want to say it's somewhere in Detroit, because he kept telling me about this school, and I was like, nah. And he's like, yeah, I sing around there. Like I sing a lot around there. And I was like, all right, cool. But anyway, midway through the conversation, I told him, I was like, you kind of remind me of my grandfather. And he like looked at me so like kindly, and he smiled. He's like, oh, he's like, he must have been a handsome man, huh? And I was like, yeah, he was. And I showed him a picture of me and my grandpa, whatever. And he's like, oh, he was, whatever. And then we just kept talking. But then we became like homies. But there's something so familiar about his presence, I think. And I remember in the middle of talking to him at one point, he said something that sounded like what my grandfather was saying. I kind of like teared up or whatever. And luckily he's like kind of deaf. So he like gets really close to you and like kind of puts his head down. So he didn't see me like tearing up. But I'm just like, oh my God, I can't like have this guy look up at me, and I'm just like crying. Right.
Wow.
But, yeah, we became friends, and then I told him that he's like, you look like you make music, and I was like, yeah, I do make music. And I told him about That Kid Is You, and then I like wrote it down on like he had like a receipt, and I wrote it down on the receipt, and I was like, yeah, just look it up on YouTube or whatever, and yeah, became friends with this dude. And it's funny because the rest of the hour and a half flight, I just hung out with him and talked to him, and he also felt like somebody I could. At one point, I'm gonna tear up. At one point, after we talked, I like went back to watching my show in the like last 20 minutes of the flight. And then he like grabbed me again, and I was like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Thank you for being a human. Thanks for being human to me." And because I noticed that earlier in the flight, the dude next to him, like he had asked him to help him with something, whatever. And the guy's just like, "Yeah." But the guy also had his kid. This is like a whole thing. So anyway, then I left, and whenever I said bye to him, he looked so sad because he was waiting, because he's like older, so he's waiting for his family to get back from like the back so to help him up or whatever. And he looked so sad when I was dipping. So I left, and then I remember when I was sitting in the taxi cab, I had this like overwhelming sense of emotion and kind of gratefulness, and then I had the thought that maybe what if the idea of souls aren't necessarily a one-of-one situation, because I think I've told you this before, or maybe you've heard me say this, but where you meet someone, you're like, oh, I think they're from the same slice of soul. Like this person is exactly like this person. There's just this essence about them, right?
Yeah, okay.
So what if souls are kind of like a fingerprint, and some of us are just lines from the same fingerprint, and or the same exact fingerprint experiencing the same thing? There's this idea that sometimes your soul is on Earth at the same exact time as another part of you, right? So the idea of like soulmates is essentially, in certain writings, is like you meeting yourself, right? So yeah, I thought that like, I'm pretty sure I like saw my grandpa, like met my grandpa again, experiencing life as somebody else. Yeah, it was hyper interesting. And then the crazy thing is because he kept talking about Detroit or somewhere in Michigan, but I looked up Cyril Paul on Facebook. I was like, oh, he's gonna be hard to find. Luckily, he has a kind of like distinct name. And sure shit, folk singer who like would gig out. He's like a gigger on the weekends or whatever in this one place in like around Detroit. So yeah. Anyway, I think about him a lot. I like want to hit him up because
it looks like you're going to Detroit.
Make a song with him.
Yeah, Cyril.
Oh, that'd be
yeah,
sweet.
Sample Cyril.
Yeah, it'd be good for the show. And like just like, oh, dude, I met this guy that I think is my grandpa on a fucking flight. Like, let's just go.
We're gonna go hang out with him in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that'd be cool.
That would be fun.
But yeah,
That
cool.
sounds really sweet.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I think about souls lately. I can't tell if there's many souls or is there's a soul. There's a single soul. And I'm you, you're me. Like the microphone is me and you. And
sure.
like we're all like the tree is me just as a tree. And you're me as you and I'm you as me. Like there's only one soul and it just kind of is like just the universe is just bursting with it. It's like life force. It's like a singular thing. I can't really choose which one I believe more. If it's just there's a soul or there's like these many sort of souls, you know?
For sure. Yeah. I don't know either.
About it.
I think for me, it's been an ever evolving decision that I make in my head.
For sure. Me too.
But I like keeping that idea in my head and like pondering about it. In a sense, that's kind of my religion. I'm not like a very religious person, but I would say in an existential sense, that is my form of hope, of just like thinking about stuff like that and like, yeah, and seeing the world like that, I think. You ever read The Egg or heard The Egg by Andy Weir? It's like a short story.
No, but I'm a reader now. Maybe I'll check it out.
He reads books
after we get off this podcast. I'll show you because there's this YouTube channel that they did like an animation to it. It's really like beautiful, but it's what kind of like that. What you're saying is like his little short story is that, and it's the first thing that I've ever heard written like on paper that I was like, oh, I think that's the most right I've seen of anything. You know, that feels the most right.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's beautiful.
All right. Well, hey, what a great podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Fucking glad you're here, JC.
Same. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
what
always
a
a treat.
treat. What a treat.
Yeah, let's land this plane.
Let's land this plane. All right. That's right. Yeah. No, not too much
Get back
turbulence.
on the ground,
right?
please.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make an apology video for how long this podcast was.
Yeah, seriously,
That was
we all.
an hour. We went.
that was
nice,
classic.
perfect.
That's
Cool.
a classic. All right. Anyway, love you.
Love you too.
Love you,
both.
everybody.
Love
Thanks for
you.
watching.
Oh yeah, thanks for you were so sweet when you first arrived the other day. You were like, I don't know, sentimental. You're like, I realize I talk about you guys all the time. I must really love you.
Yeah, I missed you guys.
Yeah, I missed
Well,
you too.
feelings
Seeing you.
mutual. It is always good to see you.
I'm also bad about like connecting whenever I'm gone, like talking to people and shit.
I know, but no,
Yeah, but
I don't take
you're
it
like,
personally.
You're in the moment.
I know you're out there
I don't do
living
it-
life.
Yeah. I don't really. I'm not good at like texting and staying in touch with people that much either.
For sure.
I know.
Because
Me
you gotta
either.
live. I just want to live. Like, let me
Yeah,
just
yeah.
live. I'll see you. We'll talk. I love you. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I like how you're so angry about it. You're like,
I love you. Leave me alone. Let me live. Leave me alone. Yeah. No, but I get it. It's
cool. Thanks.
we always get it.
Yeah.
All right. Love you guys. Good night, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Can't believe I said builded.
I know. I was trying to find a like closer.
I didn't
to
even
bring
hear
back
it at
Build
all.
It, but I just couldn't get to it.
Building it.
I didn't.